Hello everyone, welcome back to Atreyu Crochet. So in today's video, I'm going to be making a cowl. It's fall now, and so increases the need to have warm things enveloping us. Today's pattern is very easy, and you're going to really be able to practice the single crochet. So I'm going to be using this Lion Brand yarn. It's called Wool Ease, thick and quick. And it's 80% acrylic, 20% wool. This is 5 ounces. As you can see, that's the weight. And the yardage is 87 or 80 meters. And this is considered super bulky. And it calls for a 9mm crochet hook, but I'm going to be using a 10. And the colorway is Hudson Bay. Alright, so let's get to it. Other things you will need, besides this one ball, is a pair of scissors. Here's the crochet hook that I said, 10mm, it's pretty thick. And then a weaving, darning, tapestry needle. And if you happen to have it lying around, a tape measure. If you don't have a tape measure, I will show you a workaround. Alright, so we're going to start out with a slip knot. As usual, stick that in there and then just tighten it a little bit. Alright, so we're going to chain out several chains. I'm going to chain 50 for today's cowl. Basically, you want to measure the circumference of your head going from the middle of your head, like your nose area, all the way back. And once you get that measurement, that's what you could use the tape measure for. Then you'll know how many chains to crochet. Meaning, you'll find that measure, so you know how many ever inches it is. Then you'll crochet chains until you get to that length, that measurement. If you don't have a tape measure, then what you can do is just continue making chains and then use that to wrap around your head. And once you can fit it all the way around your head with a little bit of overlap, maybe a couple of chains of overlap, then you know that it's long enough. Today I'll be chaining out 50, so let me get to making these. If this is your first time working with the crochet hook that's this large, it may feel a little awkward, but you will get used to it. Everything is the same. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 40. 10 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 50. Alright, so now we are going to start making the single crochets, and this is pretty much what you're going to be doing for the rest of the pattern. As I said, this is a very easy tutorial. This cowl is going to be very easy to make, so just enjoy it. Alright, so we're going to skip the first chain. So this is the chain closest to the crochet hook. We're skipping this, and we're going to go into this stitch. Now, since we're making a single crochet, we do not yarn over first. We don't do that first. It's a single crochet, so we go in without yarning over. Now we yarn over, pull it through to the front, yarn over, and go through both loops, and that's a single crochet. Go into the next chain, yarn over, pull through to the front, yarn over, go through both loops. Next chain, yarn over, pull through to the front, go through both loops. Go through like that, yarn over, pull through to the front, yarn over, go through both loops. Yarn over, pull through to the front, yarn over, go through both loops. Okay? And now this is how you make single crochets. So we're going to do this all the way till we get back to the other end. All right? Just continue going into the chain, yarning over, pulling through, yarning over, and going through 2. Ah, that rhymes. All right, I will see you once we get to the end. All right, I have 2 more to make because I have 2 more chains. So let's go ahead and make these. 1, and the last one, 2. Okay, so you'll see that this is what it's looking like. It's really long enough so that if I bring it together, which I'm going to do at the very end, it'll fit over my head and nicely around my neck. Okay. All right, so at this point, you're going to chain 1, turn your work, and now we're going to continue making single crochets. However, we're going to work into the back loops. Okay, so these are the tops of the stitches. They look kind of like little hearts, right? We're going to work into that back loop of each one. Okay, so we've chained 1, and we're going to work into that very first stitch that we chained 1 up from. So the last single crochet that we made in the row below, and then we chained 1, we're going right back in it, but we're only going in that back loop. And remember, when we make single crochets, we do not yarn over first, so we're just going to go into that back loop. See, like that. Now we yarn over, pull through to the front, yarn over, and go through 2. Okay, next one, it's right there in the back loop. Yarn over, pull through to the front, yarn over, go through 2. Next one, go through, yarn over, pull through to the front, yarn over, go through 2. Get that tail out of the way. Next one, back loop, yarn over, pull through to the front, yarn over, go through 2. Okay, and what you will start to notice is happening is that there's a little ridge that's being created as we're working in the back loops. Okay, so you're just going to continue across to the other end, putting 1 single crochet in each single crochet below, but making sure that you work in the back loops only. Okay, I will see you once we get to the other side. All right, we have 2 more to go. So let's make them going into the back loops of the single crochets. And this last one, it can be a little bit tough to identify, but look at it like that. Just try to give yourself an aerial view, if you will. And there's that back loop right there. Okay, so this is kind of what it looks like. It kind of wants to fold, and that's just part of the ridge effect. But you're going to continue crocheting in this fashion. Okay, so chain 1, turn your work so that we're going in the other direction. Alright, so we chained up out of that very first single crochet, or if you're looking at it from the row below, the last single crochet, okay? And that's exactly where we're going to go back into, going back the other way. So we're going to go right into this very first stitch in the back loop. Don't forget to crochet into that stitch, or you're going to lose stitches as you continue crocheting each row, okay? All right, and then you just continue like this, working into the back loops, putting single crochets in each single crochet in the row below. Now, we're going to make 16 rows of single crochets. And an easy way to count these is each, if you just grab it and you see how it shoots out, you know that that is automatically 2 rows of single crochets. So as you continue crocheting, you'll get more bumps like that. So you can say 2, 4, 6, and count it like that, okay? Or if you don't want to count it like that, you can count the old school way. Okay, that's 1, that's 2, this is 3, okay? So this is technically our 3rd row of single crochets, the row that we're starting. So I want you to keep crocheting until you have a total of 16 rows of single crochets. And then we will connect it and you'll be done, okay? So just keep working across. When you get to the end, chain 1, turn your work into that very first single crochet, which happens to be the last single crochet of the previous row, working into the back loops, and yeah, just keep going, okay? So I will check back in a little bit. All right, I am just checking back in as I promised. I'm almost done with this row, and I just wanted to, and I just wanted to check back in and also make sure that you guys are not missing that last stitch of each row. So we're coming up on it. This is the second to last. And if you're not really paying attention, you might think you're done. But don't forget, if you turn it to get that top view, there's one more stitch there that you should be putting a single crochet into, okay? Now we chain 1 and we turn our work. But I want to show you something before we turn the work. So just counting really easily, if you want to know how many rows you've done, 2, 4, 6, 8. So I've completed 8 rows. This is what I meant by counting the bumps, the notches there, 2, 4, 6, and 8. Or you can count individual. So 1, 2, it's kind of hard to see, 3, but then 4, 5, and then 6, 7, and then 8. To me, it's much easier to just count the bumps. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you know that that's 8 because each bump counts as 2. All right, so this is what it's looking like so far. And you don't have to make 16 rows, okay? I don't know how long your neck is, obviously, nor do I know how long the neck is of the person you might be making this cowl for. And obviously these are unisex cowls, so it can be for a guy or a girl. But yeah, just crochet it to the appropriate height that you want and make sure you have enough yarn remaining to connect this, which, you know, it doesn't require much. So I'm just going to continue. This is how much I have left. And yeah, I'm going to try to get to 16 rows of single crochets. I don't know if this ball will make it, even though it should, because the previous ball did, but I don't know. I might have gotten chipped with this ball, so we will see. So I'll check back in once it's time to connect the ends, okay? See you then. All right, so this is my cowl at this point. I'm going to stop at 15 rows of single crochets because I don't have enough yarn to make a 16th row, and because it's already tall enough, really, for my neck. I don't know if there was less yardage in this ball than in the other one, or if my tension was just a little bit looser, so I used more yarn as I made each individual stitch. Either could be the case, and the latter is probably more likely what happened, but it is of no consequence because I have what I need. So at this point, I am just going to combine these edges so that it's a cowl, and I can just fit it around my neck, and you know, it'll be continuous, a continuous loop. So let me show you how to do that. Also, just to give you an idea of how much yarn I have left, this is how much there is. So I could finish one more row with a slightly tighter tension with this, but then I wouldn't have enough to connect the ends. And so I said, let me just stop and connect them now. All right, so folded in half like this, I noticed that my crochet hook is on the opposite side of me. And I don't want that, but you might be tempted to just turn it over like that, right? And while it's on the right side, I'm not crocheting to the right. I want to be crocheting to the left. So the way that you fix that is just unfolding it this way, folding it that way, like that. Now you have what you want. The crochet hook is on the side closest to me, the edge closest to me, and when I crochet, I'll be crocheting to the left, okay? So now we're just going to line this up, line up the edges, and I'm literally just going to slip stitch my way across. Very easy, very quick. So just go through one edge there, line it up, and go through an edge there, yarn over, pull through, and pull all the way through. That's all that it is. Sometimes I might put 2 slip stitches in the same or nearby hole, so it might be the same hole for one edge but a different hole for the next one. I just don't want it to buckle. Okay. So, and you can just kind of make sure it's loose as well. Not too loose, but you know, you guys will be able to fill it out. Slip stitch. And this should go very quickly. By the way, this cowl has gone very quickly. Between getting off the camera and getting back on, it's really only been a matter of minutes. It hasn't gone quickly just because, you know, I've cut out and then hours have passed and I've come back. It's been quick because literally it's just been a matter of minutes between my leaving and coming back. So, and then make sure you do a check to make sure you're lining it up and slip stitching across appropriately. Bring it all the way through. See how that one's kind of far away? So I don't want that one. We got to find something a little bit closer. Yes, like that. And then I'm going to put another one in there just because it feels kind of far to me. There you go. Like that. This is, to me, actually the fun part. And you can just kind of fit it in where you can get it in, you know? It doesn't have to be super precise. It just needs to be just right and look nice. I don't know, I'm rhyming a lot today. Guess it's just that kind of day. One more in here. Alright, and then this corner with that corner. Okay. And I'm going to do one more just down here so I can get a little bit closer to this tail. So find a spot there. That might even be the same hole I just went in before. Alright. Now I'm going to chain 1, cut my yarn, pull through, and since those tails are right by each other, I'm just going to tie a couple of knots because I can. 1 and 2. All right, now I'm going to use my weaving needle to weave in these tails. All right, and with yarn this bulky, this chunky, you're really going to have to kind of roll it to make it thinner. And when you're first putting it through your needle, you want to try to get as many of those pieces of yarn, strands of yarn, through there as possible, because that will help you when it comes to getting it through the eye of the needle. So I'm going to roll this again. And it might even help sometimes to kind of cut just to make sure they're all kind of at the same level. And then we'll try this again. So see, I got some white, I got some gray in there. Now when I go to pull it, when I grab, I'm not just grabbing here. I'm continuing to grab close by the eye, by the opening, just to make sure I'm grabbing hairs that maybe I didn't have before. And then it's in there, okay? If you want, you can tie just a little loose knot just to make sure it does not come undone as you're going through your stitches, okay? And now, since this yarn that I'm weaving has the gray in it, I'm going to find a spot in my work that has that. So I'm going to just go through some stitches, not being super picky here. All right. And kind of just pull through. Okay, and then I'm going to stretch it back out, and then we will go back the other way. I'm going to turn this around. It's just a little bit easier for me to see and for you to see as well. And I'm going to try to go back to where I started, just to get the yarn back there. Try not to split yarns that should not be split. Pulling through. Okay. Now that that is done, I'm going to cut this tail. I'm also going to cut this tail because I've already tied 2 knots in it, so it should be okay. Alright, so what I'm left with is this bulge where I slip stitched up and down. I actually kind of like the bulge there. But if you don't like that, you can turn it this way, where the bulge, it's more of an indentation than it is a bulge. But either way, this is a nice little warm cowl for your neck. So it's more like a neck warmer. But yeah, it's pretty cool, you know. And you always know the back. Not that it really matters with this sort of thing, but with this super bulky yarn, it's very warm, okay? Alright guys, so this is what you're left with. A nice little cowl that does not take long to make, that you don't need many supplies for, just one ball of yarn. You're just doing the single crochet stitch, putting it into the back loops, and that's what's creating this ridge effect. And yeah, just slip stitching it together so that it's continuous. So just pull this over your neck, fold it over, and you will have a nice cowl. You can make this as long as you want. Like I said, I crocheted out 50 chain stitches. If you want to make it super long, you can do 150 and then you can wrap it around multiple times, or you can make it just long enough to fit over your head so that you don't have a lot of material, but enough, especially with this bulky yarn, to keep your neck warm. So it's just all a matter of preference. You can crochet more rows to make it taller on your neck so that it fits from your neck all the way maybe up to your nose. You know, you can do whatever you want. As I said, it's just a matter of preference. So hopefully you have enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have any questions, and also let me know what other types of crochet videos you want to see. Maybe there's a stitch or a pattern that you haven't figured out and you want me to show you how it's done. Just leave them down below in the comment section and I will do my best to oblige. That is it for today's video. I will see you in the next one. In the meantime, happy crocheting.